Welcome to the Top M&A Entrepreneurs. Today, my guest is Damon Pistulka from the Northwest. Damon has been involved in over 100 M&A transactions. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me here today, John.
All right, let's get into this. Talk about where you started. What were you doing in that ordinary life? And what was the calling to M&A acquisition adventure?
Well, I just heard somebody talk about this, and when we look back at our career, we think, oh, there was some order to it, but there really wasn't a bit of order to mine at all. Other than I saw the next thing that I thought was interesting, and when I went to that one, I saw something else. You know, I went to school for engineering, thought I wanted to be an engineer, and started working in manufacturing companies. And I was in a fast-growing company, so I was able to help them build that company. They went from, it's like a handful of employees, literally like 25 or 30 employees, up to 300 when I left 6-7 years later. Yeah. And I built 4 facilities for them, and I ran the last facility I built for them for 5 years in the Southeast, and was able to learn a lot from that. And my next job after that, because it was a family business, and once you get to a certain point, I knew that I wasn't going any further up in the management or running the company or anything like that. I was able to move into a company that, little did I know, was owned by investor owners. And that was my first foray into investment ownership. I didn't realize it because I was contacted by a recruiter, and they said, hey, there's this company, and it was in the nearby town from where I was living in Tennessee, and they're looking for somebody to run their facility. Well, their facility was, I don't forget, it was like twice as large revenue wise and a little bit larger people wise. And they said, hey, you want to meet the owners of this company? And it was 2 guys that were investment buyers. They were in it with private equity, and I ran that company I ran that facility for about a year. Then I started running the company alongside one of the owners for the next 3 years, 3.5 years, something like that, until we sold it. And
so you're the, if I'm going to start a holding company and I'm looking for a GM, you were the GM that was kind of running that company that we'd hire with it, because it had enough cash flow. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And during that, these guys were PricewaterhouseCoopers guys that had, invested in their money, had built other companies, had sold them. The guy that I worked with had done like literally, I don't know how many hundreds of transactions with PricewaterhouseCoopers in previous work, and he's a bit older than I am, and did it during when the banking in the 80s, and was consolidating banks and things like that. So I mean, from a financial aspect, I came from a technical background, but these guys were financial. And the thing that I really learned from that is I learned how to connect the operation to the finance. Yeah. And really see how the business is running based on what the numbers are telling me, and then visualize how that is happening on the factory floor or in the whatever. And now I do a lot of e-commerce work. We still do the same thing, but what's the digital information telling us? And that was really my key learning as getting into that, because I'd never really been in a business where we said, listen, we're worth 5 million today. We need to get to 15 before we sell, because that's how we make our money on the during this, and paying down debt, and then on the exit. So that entails a lot of different things. It entails, first of all, trying to figure out how the hell you're going to grow organically as fast as you can. How are you going to grow by acquisition as fast as you can? And then who the heck are we selling to when we're done?
Right.
And I was absolutely enthralled by the entire process. And I still remember when we finished that first transaction I was in, and we sold that company. I said, I was 36 years old, and I said, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. I want to help people build and sell companies like this. This is the coolest experience I've ever had, by being able to help them build it, figure out that business, get it really running, and take over an industry, and then sell it. And during that time, we evaluated, I don't know how many companies, did transactions, grew organically with the things, and just a whole bunch, and went out to try to buy the biggest competitor, went all the way down to the end, raised the money to do it. And the owner of that company got greedy and we couldn't do that deal. So we ended up, so it wasn't, it's not like a straight path. We just did this stuff, right? I mean, we had to go through starting out, we had to do a turnaround in the beginning because the previous management damn near ran it out of business. So the owner and I did that. Then we were out evaluating companies. Then we were trying to buy. And then we ended up deciding that a much bigger competitor of ours wanted to buy us. And that was our best way to exit, and did that.
Did you
And I
grow
was really-
frustrated because you couldn't do that leaps and bounds revenue growth like you did? But then somebody came courting you and said, hey, this is probably our best exit.
The really, yeah, we looked at the other competitors, and we were in a niche market. We knew our market was about $160 million in the US, and we were at, what were we at that time? 30. So I mean, we're
you're
already
25%
sizable in the
of it.
market.
Yeah.
And when somebody else that came to us from an ancillary market, we're like, wow, this is, the value was great that we were getting for the business. We had some key accounts that they could do things for those key accounts that we didn't do, and they were very good at. So it was a great synergistic acquisition for them. They were $100 and some million company, so it was a bit bigger, yeah, so it was great experience.
What did you learn from that company, them acquiring you, about what they were looking for and how it fit like a glove to say, oh my God, we should sell to these because there's a lot of synergies here?
Yeah, the synergies were, as we created a sales and a market driven engine that hadn't been in the industry before. And they were doing a similar thing in their industry, but they could, like I said, what we made is, it was real simple. If you go into a grocery store today and you get groceries, and you get it through a self-check, or you get it through where someone's helping you and you're putting the groceries on the belt, we made those lanes. We made those things, and we made them out of wood. We're the biggest wood manufacturer. Had 2 facilities, and you wouldn't think that you're going to make 10 or 15,000 of those every year for people like Kroger and in your, it could be, you look at the Texas Chains, you look at Safeway, you look at Albertsons, you look at all, they do a lot of these, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
But
that's a niche market. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a very niche. But so then the company that bought us, they actually do convenience store fixturing, but they do it out of metal. We were in wood, they were in metal. But what we had done is, we had when we figured out, what our, moment was going to be in the industry, we figured out how to be very flexible and very fast. The industry had an 8-week lead time, and I was fortunate enough to work with some really great engineering, operational people, all that kind of stuff. And while we were running it, we redesigned it was a 60-year-old company, so it had lots of baggage, right? We redesigned our entire product line so that we could go, what used to take 8 weeks would take us 10 business days.
And who pushed for that? Was that you or?
Yeah. I knew speed wins in business, right? I think it still wins today, right? Look at Amazon. Why do they win? They got Prime.
Because I can order something in the morning and get it in the afternoon. Unbelievable.
Yep. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And everybody else tries to copy. And, it was simple fact. And it, I'm not brilliant or anything like that. It actually came to me one day when I was walking through the factories, and we had 400,000 square feet and 2 different, more than that, but you go into our shipping areas and there are huge orders because these things aren't small, right? Well, when the construction schedule would shift, you got to store all these damn things. And I'm like, shoot, we got all this product out here, and we can't ship it because they changed their construction schedule. Well, how do we fix that? How do we get that so we don't have to do that? Well, we have 8 weeks, and they're all the other shit. I said, well, we went to the customer and we said, when is it rock solid that you're going to open that store? And we need to be there. And they said, well, a month, nothing changes after a month because we got food coming in. It was like, all right, let's figure out how to do it faster than that. So they can order, we can reduce their lead time, make it easier for them. And I said, in the process of this, let's make this product totally customizable. And then we're going to reduce the number of custom components significantly in it. So now we can make these like we're making cars. And it was a 3-year journey that the engineering and operational people figured out how to reduce our square footage down to 200,000 square feet in 2 facilities instead of close to 5, including inventory storage, and reduce the cost by 40% and reduced our lead time from 8 weeks to 10 days.
Reduce the cost by 40%. Man, that's a wonders on your profit margin. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And we could kill people because what would we do? I could go out and with my salespeople and I could say, listen, chain, you want 1,000 lanes this year. I can deliver them 48 hours wherever you want in the US because we'll stock a store worth. And this is when this was a while ago when dollar stores were really pumping. They were opening them like they would open 10, 20 a week. We said 48 hours, you can have stuff there. You just tell us where you want it. It'll come from one of our facilities. Tell us what you want because they only had 4 or 5 products. And we could do that with people. We could do it with like Safeway. It was like you order, we can have it there in 7 business days.
Yeah. You must have read Dell's book when he talked about just-in-time manufacturing. How
Oh yeah.
Compact and HP.
Oh yeah.
Like building in just in time. That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
we did it. Yeah.
I'm a geek on that stuff. Right. And that to me was not much that I get to do anymore other than the innovative part around it
but you see it though, because you could see it in an acquisition. Yes.
You can see these things in an acquisition. And what I see in different businesses I work with, like in e-commerce and some of these other businesses that we're dealing with now, these opportunities are the same. And when you look at a company and you're evaluating it and you go, yeah, so as the acquiring company develop these things like this, like that's like I mentioned, then I can go out and acquire others that aren't and show them how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But now show us how to do it there. And how much more am I going to realize than that owner? And then when you go to do an acquisition, now I'm not buying based on the profit from the last 12 months like everybody else is. I'm thinking about this and going, I can turn that profit up 25, 30%, whatever the number is in the next 12 months because I've got things figured out that we can help them implement, and we can radically change how they're doing things.
Yeah.
And
you actually put a number on that when you see something like that. You could say, yeah,
you have to.
How close do you think you've been to when you say I'm going to make a prediction of 25% increased profit margin, and how close you are to?
I'm a cautious person, so I'm normally about half of what we really realize, because you got to be. I mean, we are spending millions of dollars, dude. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. And that's so. If you say if I said 25%, I probably would be thinking I can get closer to 50. And then I would have
margin of safety.
Yeah, a little margin of safety, because everybody loves to be beat. It loves to beat their performance, and especially, and this is what a lot of
your own comp plan.
Well, entrepreneurs that haven't worked with funding before, and this is what I learned back in that very first company, because you come to board meetings and you get a few board meetings missing it, your projections and your profitability, but you don't get unlimited time on that. And it doesn't matter if I'm an entrepreneur and I go out with a venture firm and we start up something and we're going on. If you're not running that thing like it needs to be a year from now, 6 months from now, you're out.
Yeah.
And so you got to learn these things, learn how to work with them, learn how to create the value along the way, and really be developed.
That's like a skill. You see a company, it's undervalued, distressed, whatever situation it's in. This is a kind of same thing where, 3 or 4 years ago when Elon Musk wrote his own comp plan, he saw something that the demand was going to kill it. And these board of directors said, yeah, go ahead. That's how we went from like $25 billion to $150 billion. Yeah.
You are, and you're exactly right. You may see something that nobody else sees, and you got to have enough confidence and enough knowledge in industry or what you're doing, that it will make a difference. And actually it comes from talking to people too and figuring it out.
Yeah. But you still don't overpay for these acquisitions. You still get them at the cash flow
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
history of the cash flow.
you can get them at the price, but if you have a strategic, we just did it this last week for a client. We had a strategic acquisition, and we didn't pay crazy money, but we paid enough that it's like, you're not getting that on the street from anyone else. We still go back to it and we say, you talk about the 25% increase. Well, if I think over a year, I'm going to get 25% increase, that's 25% increase in cash flow. I can pay 25% more for that business if I want to. But if it takes me 10 or 15% to buy it, yeah, I might be a little bit tight in the beginning. But if we know there's 2 or 3 things that are going to hit that are going to help it snowball pretty quickly, you're comfortable with it. And, and this is one of the things I talk about a lot with people is, the better you set up your company to acquire other companies, the more you can pay when you do it. And not to
that
overpay.
phrase from Jeff Bezos, or maybe it was somebody else, Dan Kennedy, the more that you can spend to acquire a customer, you'll win you win the industry. Yeah.
And that comes from doing things differently on the backside that no one else.
So how did you go from these roles where you're working for somebody else, an investor, and then you just go, okay, I'm going to go do this myself. I'm going to go find businesses that want that help. How did that transition?
Well, I was in my.
Hold on, your mic stopped. All right, I'll fix it later.
Yeah. So refresh the question for me there.
So you were working for essentially inside the company. You were the general manager that people want to hire. It's like, hey, I buy a company, even it's got to be $750K because it can afford a general. You were that general manager people brought in. Now, how did you go from doing that to just outside helping other companies with this vision? I go, hey, I need a great exit down the road because I'm stuck.
Yeah. So that, like I said, when I was about 36 and we finished that first one, I knew I was passionate about it, and I thought it was something I wanted to do. I ended up doing 5 more of those stints. I think 5 or 6 more of those stints where I was called in to do turnarounds or building and selling and those kind of things. And then I did other project work after that. But ultimately, I was into what I'm doing today. It was because I got really frustrated with investment owners and I appreciate what they do. Investment owners are there to create value for shareholders. It's awesome. But on the other hand, too, some of the things that they have to do along the way, and I'm not saying they don't have to do them because they do, doesn't set well with me, right? I had to, and it really happened one day. I had to close down a couple of companies that were, it meant 350 people that I had to let go. And it was all of a sudden, hell, I was running them. I didn't even know till got call. Hey, we decided we're going to get out of this. And I was like, man, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to create value for somebody I don't know. I want to help people I know. And so then
they asked you to shut down, let's say a plant or something.
Yeah, 2 of them.
350 people have to be.
250. Had to go to the Warren Act. Had to do all that good junk you have to do. And it was under circumstances that I thought we were blowing forward because we were profitable. We were doing what we were supposed to be doing.
Why do you think they shut them down then?
Well, they said they weren't making enough money. But there was more political motivations behind it or something. I don't know what it was, but the whole thing didn't make sense. But they were no longer with the holding company after, I don't know, 6 months after that or something like that too. So there was more going on that pushed me out of the working for those kind of people. And then I was like, I'm going to start helping, as I wanted to a long time ago. I'm going to start helping business owners. And then I actually was building facilities for a while because I like to do that. In the 2015, I met up with my old business associate, Andrew Cross, and we started Exit Your Way. And to do this, he started out, he was business brokering, and I said, listen, I don't want to do just straight business brokering. I want us to do the entire thing where we help people get their businesses to the right value and sell them, because most businesses don't sell. People, you can one way or the other, it's 80% won't sell.
When that business, what was that you did not like about the business broker? Did it because they just sold them as is? It's just like moving.
Yeah. They'll tell you, John, yeah, John, your business is worth $1.5 million. We'll list it for you and try to sell it. And some have enough intestinal fortitude to tell you that, well, it might be difficult to sell because, John, you're the brains in this business, and without you, you're not worth a lot of money, but we'll list it anyway. That's probably about as good as you're going to get from the industry. Most will just say, yeah, we'll sell it. And then they realize that, if I get an offer, it's going to be something way lower than I've told you. And I'm going to work to try to get you to take that offer because it's realistic, rather than in the beginning saying, John, how much do you really need?
Yeah.
How much do you really need from this business? I mean, because we all are going to do something next. And this is a premise for our business. How much do you need for what you're doing next? If it's $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, I really don't care. Where are we at? Where do we need to go? And we help people get there. And along the way, we're not only increasing value, but we're preparing that business to be valuable for the next buyer, just like we had to do when we were in private equity business, because they don't start that without knowing where it's going. And we do that. And along the way, so when you get the value up to where you want it, and and your financial advisor says, hey, you need this much money, and we're that much plus a cushion, so you're ready to get out, this whole thing becomes much easier. You're not in the 80% that doesn't sell. You're in the 20% that does sell. But not only are you in the 20% that does sell, because that 20% still gets hammered on price, you're in the whatever, the very fine margin of probably the top 5% that actually get pretty damn close to what they think they're going to get.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that's different. And once you start doing that for people, when we've done it a few times and got the things going, now we have buyers that come to us, private equity or search fund kind of buyers with these search fund groups, that they know what the companies look like that we're preparing and selling, and they're in it. They're like, yep, we're ready to look at it.
So you already have, for instance, I have a buddy in the M&A advisory business, and he has a list of about 100 wealthy, high net worth individuals that are doing roll-ups or strategic buys.
Yeah.
Private equity firms, not any family offices, just usually strategic, high net worth individuals or private equity. And he goes, I know exactly what their menu is. Here's what, and they give it to me. So this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, those are out there. I mean, selling a business anymore is way different than it was 10, 15 years ago. My partner's been in it for, 15 plus years. And he tells me about how they used to do it. I mean, now it's like, I posted about this last week on LinkedIn. It's like a marketing product launch. I mean, because yes, we know those people that we've worked with that might be interested, but you never know who's in and out of the market, right? Even in private buyers, even, me, if we wanted to buy business, we could be in the middle of diligence, something else, you never know. So your reach when you're trying to sell that thing really has to be a multi-prong approach, and it's got to be, it's like a product launch. And, but having those buyers that know that is definitely valuable, because what we use it for is value. What are you going to pay for this kind of business actually on the market? And then what do you see wrong with this business right now? Early. Because then it's not like I'm saying your business is worth $1 million. Susan over there at blah, 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 private equity group that buys these businesses, this is how much they're valuing a business your size today.
Yeah. So how much is that similar to each one? I said they're looking for e-commerce businesses, but you take it to private equity and we pay this one pays that. I mean, are they similar to valuations and how they do that?
They're similar. Yeah. Because, business valuation is based off of market data. When you're looking at market price for a business, we have private databases that pull it up. We can get the banks use them. Same thing. We know the approximate multiples, but it's always good for a business owner to see an outside resource, not me, somebody else that's actually a buyer in the market, telling them how much their business is worth, and telling them that 2-3 years before they buy it, before they want to sell it, because you get to the end and that's a pretty damn somber day. If you're, 6 months from wanting to be out of your business and they tell you it's 30% less than what you want. If you see that 2-3 years ahead of time, yeah, it just means we got to put a little extra elbow grease to get there.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing. It's the whole thing behind our business is we didn't want these people to get to the end of their life and their business and go, shit, it's not worth enough money.
Yeah. So where do you find these people that say, okay, it's not, are they rejected by a broker saying, here's, hey, I want to sell my $3 million business. And they say it's only worth $200,000 because you're spending 100 hours a week and your cash flow is not great. Well, how do you find those? And then are they rejects from trying to sell their business or what?
They're not rejects from trying to sell their business. Our average client age is
well, let me explain that. There's some context to that because 5-6 years ago, I went to Quiet Lion in Joe Valley, said, hey, John, like how much time do you spend in your business? Like, 40, 60 hours a week. And here's your profit margin. I tell you what, it's really not worth that much because I got $400,000 cash flow businesses and the guy's working a couple hours a week because he's got systems in place.
Yeah.
He's got people, he's delegating the systems. You need to go back and do that. So that's what I was referring to.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really depends for us. And why I go to the average age of our client is because what we do, it's not easy. If you're going to do this, you have to have gas in the tank. If you're done, you're burnt out. We tell business owners all the time, your best course is to run this until you don't want to run it anymore and liquidate your assets. Why sell if it's just going to be a pain in the ass? It's going to create all kinds of stuff.
And you had that conversation early on with them?
Oh yeah, right away.
Yeah, that's
right away.
Right out the bat.
Yeah, I don't. If somebody thinks that they're going to get $5 million for their business, and I know it's going to be worth 2 or 3, there's no reason for me to spend my time with them. And the bigger thing is what they really need to hear is it's not going to be worth that, but you can get your $5 million.
So let me when you have this conversation, you say that, that's provocative, and then you sit, and how long do you wait for you say, but?
Well, sometimes that's a good question. I wait for them to understand.
Some theatrics into it.
Yeah. Because they need to understand that value is simple math. And it doesn't matter how much work you put into your business. That doesn't mean a damn thing. It means I have to be able to buy your business. I have to pay for buying your business. I have to make a return on that, and I have to make a living. If you're trying to get $5 million out of a business that makes $100,000 a year in profit, tell me how you're going to make that work. Nobody's going to walk up and dump 5 million in and wait for 47 years to get that paid back. I mean, it's not working, right? It's not working. So it's that simple. And when we tell them that, and then we say, but if you want $5 million, your business, there's a lot of businesses that are worth 2, 3, sometimes 4 times their cash flow. Run the business for 3 or 4 more years and take as much money out of it as you can and sell it. We're going to be in the same place. If you're taking 600, taking that $100,000 out of cash flow and you're going to get 250, 300,000. Sometimes the best thing is to run it for 3, 4 years and be ready for the party at the end.
Yeah.
Because you can go the other route and you'll find a broker that'll tell you that, and this pisses me off every bit about broker because they'll tell you it's worth whatever you want to hear. And you're going to waste a year effing around with that. You're going to put all that stuff together. You're going to try to market that business totally knowing that it's a long shot. Why the hell put yourself through that? So run it for those 3 years, save all the money you can, create the most goodwill in your community you can by, being philanthropic, whatever you can with, just get yourself out of it as clean as you can, take the money and run and do that. Or if you have the energy and your business is really worth $1 million and you need 3, if you spend 24 to 36 months on it with the right effort, that's not hard to change. That's not hard to change to go from 1 to 5 in 3 years.
And
If
how
you really,
long do you say that? Do you let it sit with them? Because some people, I've got the energy, but they really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a different, if they say they have the energy, this is a much different conversation, because then we have to get in, and before we ever decide that we're going to do anything, we have to have a lot more conversation around it, because this, to go from 1 million to 5 million, you have 2 things that are going to happen. You're going to have to change the way your business operates. You're going to have to change the way that you operate. The people that are in your business are probably going to, they will change. I'm not going to say probably, they will change. So if you're ready for those kind of changes in your life, that's okay. Then we can probably start working together. We probably keep talking, because you're changing everything. It's not like, again, if you're at a point in your life when your business is cruising, and I make this stuff every year, and you come to me and say, oh, after 10 years now, I've been taking $500,000 this for the last 10 years, but now I want it to be $2 million. I'm probably going to say, you don't know it, but you don't have it in you, because your lifestyle change is going to be so much. If you're in the business still working and really, really going for it, then we can work. But it takes outside effort. It takes inside effort. It's an all out full court press to do this thing. And you really need to have the intestinal fortitude to do it.
Yeah. So these types of people that you see, that's just like, okay, I'm going to do that. Let's go back to, one of your first clients that brought you on and goes, yes, I want to do that. What kind of company was that? What
e-commerce company?
E-commerce
company. Yeah.
And they came to you. How old were they? Curious.
10 years.
No, I mean, how old was the owner?
45.
45. And you had this conversation with them, or you got better, definitely got better at it too, after the years and years. And they said, yes, I do want to do that.
Yeah.
And then you did what for them? You said, hey, here's an analysis of where you're at right now.
Yep.
Here's where you want to go. Let's work backwards. What did you do for them?
So their value at the time was about $8 million. They had about $7 million in debt. And
$7 million in debt.
Yeah, there was a lot of debt. Something like that. It was like 1 or 2 million.
It was too high.
Net. Yeah, it's too high, because it was, but it was good. The company was at the point though where it had started being profitable, but it was kind of in and out of profitability. But there was a lot of good.
You still had the debt on the books.
Yeah, a lot of good bones, and so we had that hard conversation. And I still remember to this day when I was in there with one of our sales guys that we got out of that meeting. He goes, I don't believe how long you sat there and didn't say anything. I said, because they had to think about, do they really want to do this or not? And part of it was that they, it's not cheap to do this in a company that's a little bit bigger and when you need a lot of help. But we were able to take that company in the course of about, I think it was 20 months, 18 or 20 months. It went from about 13 million top line to about 35 million in top line. And the EBITDA went from, I think it was 600,000 or something like that, to about 3.4.
Yeah.
And
what's the multiples? When was that? 10 years ago or something? Or
it was something like that. It was years ago. At the first start, you were at a 3 or 4, but it was, and we had offers at 7, I think 7.5 when we sold it.
Yeah. So, how did you get rid of the debt?
Oh, it's aggressive paying it down.
Just
aggressive paying it down a long way, because you so we're working in it for a year and you go, okay, the debt, that's just, you take zero freaking money out of it. You do 2 things. You go, inventory was way too high. You go, let's sell this stuff and let's get our supply chain in sync.
Doing what you learned back at grocery
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, you don't need $8 million of inventory because that's 7 months worth of inventory. We need to have it at $3 million worth of inventory and be turning it, right? They didn't know about inventory.
Which is better cash flow. It's more positive.
Yeah, better cash flow. So what did that cash flow do? That paid down debt. And then you go, and then you're scaling too. So it gets better as that $3 million stretches over 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, and we're turning the inventory even faster. It helped the cash flow even more. That's how you pay down the debt. And
let me ask you about this. Was there anything about him, because you've seen this with some business owners, they use their business as a personal bank account. That's their prerogative, right? But they're taking out so much money that it's hard to transition to some new owner or pay down the debt, right?
Yeah,
Maybe the guy was taking a lot of money out and I go, no, you got to have a $150,000-$250,000 salary, not a $600,000 salary.
Yeah. He was good about that. He was good about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good about it. It was like, listen, I don't need exorbitant money to live. Yeah, he wanted a couple cars and stuff like that, but it wasn't crazy. He wasn't buying new houses everywhere and doing that every month. But that's how you have to be to pay down the debt going forward, because if you get a $25-30 million deal and you got $12 million of debt, well, that kind of takes the fun out of it. If you can get a $25 million deal and you got $5 million in debt, that's a lot more fun. And when you start to even, and this is just scale, right? There's just zeros at the end of this. It's the same amount of equity, I think, from somebody that has a business that sells for 2 million as it is for 20 million. If that's a big deal, if 2 million is a big deal to you, don't think there's anything less about it if it's smaller. When you can create that exit and you can get the money that you want, it's great if it's whatever you want it to be. Because
let me ask you about this. So you went to kind of just in time or reduced inventory, increased cash flow, pay down the debt. What did you do with that excess cash flow aside from just paying down debt? Did you go make acquisitions from that, or was it just organic growth?
It was just organic growth.
Yeah.
It just, you had to feed the beast, right? Because as soon as you grow, you start growing. We were always fighting the fact that you can't just order more inventory and everything. If you're in e-commerce, right, and you're selling on Amazon and all these other platforms, I mean, they've got payable, right? They've got 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks payable on it. That just grows, right? So cash has to go in there. Cash has to go into inventory growth you need. Cash has to go into other places as well, facilities and things like that increase your fixed costs a little bit. But it's you have to fund the growth.
Yeah, I actually had the same problem when I owned an e-commerce company, hearing aids. The manufacturer wanted me to buy in front like every month, carry inventory, and I said, it's not good. It's not good on my cash flow to hold this inventory, and I don't know what they're going to buy because I carry three things. So I'm just going to order from you. I'll pay a little extra, and it was just enough for my margins and my turn to increase and my profit margins.
Yeah. And that's why I've got a e-commerce client now that's a reseller. And it is, if you structure the businesses right, you can run a $20 million business with a few employees if you do it right in that situation. And you can run on lower margin, but if you concentrate on customer service, making sure you're really tight with information flow to customers, to suppliers, to platforms, you can make it that way too.
Was this CEO at the time, was he aware of how to fix it, or was
he had no idea,
or he just
it was a founder. It was a founder, right? They build these things and they don't, and they're great at what they do, right? They're great at what they do. Shit, I'm not a founder. I wouldn't start a business like that. I wouldn't wouldn't have the guts to do it. And those kind of things. And these people are incredible people. What they don't understand, they haven't had the hard knocks in the business experience like some people have had with what I specialize in and what Exit Your Way and the people we work with specialize in. It's like, listen, you've got a great thing. We're going to show you how to make it a little different and show you how to really understand it and make it even better.
Did you just map out the process in front of hand, tell them like, hey, here's the game plan? And it was under NDA. You said, here's the game plan.
Yeah. This is, it's simple. I'll tell people what it is. You have to lay out your annual goals and you have to work back that down into weekly KPIs. You have to have your teams aligned to do it. it's, someone can read an attraction, the EOS book. It tells you what to do.
Is it,
You can take that book and
yeah.
tell whatever, but it's the same thing. Traction was written in like 2005 or 6, and everybody does, but we were doing it before that. We were doing that. We were doing that before it, right? If you lay out where you need to be, you break that down into where I need to be this week and next week, and your teams know it, and you got the right people running those teams, you will get there if you're facilitating their work and helping them get there. That's what people get into business, because they're good at something, but they're not necessarily good at structuring a business to run right.
Yeah.
As well as it can, not right.
Yeah. That's a skill in itself.
Yeah. That's what we help people.
Was he 100% owner?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you get paid? How did you say, here's how we get paid?
Yeah.
Like, monthly, and then somebody.
Yeah. We get paid consulting. Our consulting fees, when people will look at them, they're fairly low, because we get paid the most money when we sell a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there been ever case it's like, hey, here's your 3-year target, and he did exit at that time? Does anybody just say, no, I'm not going to exit, but you still, do you have,
we have clauses in our contracts. They can buy us out. They can buy us out at any time. I mean, they can just, if they get to the end and we put the business up for sale, or it's time to put it up for sale, and they say, no, I want to keep it, they can just pay us. There's a buyout fee that we have in our contract.
Is that like, is that a fee, or is that phantom shares or something, or commission from?
We've done it several different ways. I mean, we got some companies will take ownership stakes in. We got some companies, it's cash. You just pay us cash. You say, listen, when we sold your company, we're going to make X, and it's a discount off that, obviously, because we don't actually do it, but, make us feel good for the work we did, and we can part friends, Yeah.
So you did this first one. It felt like a good template or platform type learning lesson. How did you start gaining speed on this from other clients and finding these people that are just going, yeah, I still have gas in my tank. I want to do this. I want a better exit, and I have gas in my tank.
Yeah. I worked with a really good sales guy in the beginning, Jeffrey Graham, still work with him a lot. He taught me how to, hell, I didn't know social media. I didn't know do those kind of things. I didn't know, I didn't know what a webinar was. Obviously I knew what it was, but never done it before. And really we began building and educating people about the process, because most people are in their business, just they look in that mirror every day, trying to make the best decisions they can, and don't really understand the resources that are available to them. And that's honestly our biggest thing that we do, is help people understand there are resources. You can do it yourself. Here's some information. Go for it. But if you need help, there are people that can help you. Mm-hmm. And people that, quite honestly, if we can't help people and we're in it a little while, we walk away. We say, sorry, we can't help you. Because the way we're aligned, right? And this is what, when we first laid out the business, we knew that we didn't want to make very much money in our consulting.
I mean, what are you talking about very much? Like $5,000 or less, or $10,000?
No, I'm just talking about it as a business. As a business, we make less than 25% of our money from consulting.
Okay.
We make 75% of our money from selling the businesses we consult with.
Yeah.
So we're aligned with the owners to get their business sold. I'm not just there to milk the clock to get, a little every month out of this thing. That's cool and everything, because it keeps gas in the car, whatever else, and keeps us doing this stuff. But we make our money when we sell them. Yeah. That's what we align with the owners that way, because you told us you wanted to sell when you can get $5 million. And that's what we're going to do. We're incentivized to get you faster, get you there faster, and get you sold faster.
Yeah. And how many of those deals do you have to have in your pipeline for it to, where you're tapped out, or you're making the money you want to make?
Yeah. We don't need a handful is about where we're at now.
Yeah.
But the team we've got, that is what we want to be, is in 3 more years. We've been in this for a while now. We've been in 5 or 6 years, this model. We want to be 10. We don't want to be any more than 10. We've already got the team identified. The process is set, but because we think Well, I'm not young, I'm not 20. So our exit, we know what our exit wants to look like.
Yeah.
And when we get there, we're going to do it.
If any, Munger and Buffett are any example, I mean, they're still 95 and 93.
Yeah.
It's still like,
I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do.
yeah.
I think every day I get up, I thank God that I figured out that I could do this, because it is so much fun helping business owners, because once they see that there's a little different way to do this, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
We just had a client in January, been working with them for 4 months, something like that. Got some team adjustments made and things like that. Biggest month he's ever had in his life.
Yeah. Do you recommend firing people? Say, hey, this guy is an anchor on your business. You need to get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, you have to, right? You have to, because as business owners, it's holding people back. And I used to be, when I worked with the equity companies, that's where your heartless piece has to come out. And sometimes you just have to go, and do that, right? Now we do it a much different way. And really, when you look at EOS traction, they live a nice framework for it. Does this person get it? Do they want it? They have the capacity to do it. Let's really look at that and look at what the organization needs from this person. And if they don't have the capacity to do it, well, is there someplace else where they can be there? If they don't get it, can we help them get it? Can we help them get how their role is? But there's one thing we can't overcome. If they don't want to be in the organization that's going this way, they want to stay where we are today, that's pretty much a non-starter for us. And we do help them transition people out. Yeah. But it's not easy for a founder to do that. And I understand why. It's these are friends sometimes. But when they're holding your business back and you have to get somewhere, it's like you have to clear the tracks if there's mud across it, right?
Well, I mean, you got a vision too. And if you're going to get to that vision, there are obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
So what was kind of one of the fastest exits? Like you hit your target real fast. What kind of time frame was that? How did you do that? And
everything we do, when you look at selling a business, if anyone tells you they can sell your business in 6 months, they're full of shit. It takes too long to do that. So I think about the shortest time we've ever done it is 12 months.
12 months.
And the reason why we did that is because they were already growing, like they had like 70% growth, then 100% growth one year. And so growing like crazy, because growth is what buyers want. If you got growth, you got crazy good growth. How
does that change the multiple, even though you're still SMB, you go from 1 million to 3 million to 5 million? It's
incredible, dude. Yeah. It's incredible. That's why, why do people do roll-ups, right? Why do people do roll-ups? Because as your profitability gets higher, my multiple gets higher. So and in a quick growing company, not only do you have the fact that last year I was at 1 million, but now I'm at 2 million in EBITDA, which probably jumped my multiple by a half or another multiple altogether. When I sell that business, I am creating a different value, because if we do this as we show owners how to do, where we're tracking growth, projecting growth, and hitting growth. If I've got a history of 6 months or a year where I said I was going to grow 30% and I'm growing 30%, and I got 50, 60% more to grow on this spurt that we're doing, or this efforts that we're doing to grow that, you can get 20, 25% pretty handily just when you sell that company, because we're not valuing it on the trailing 12 months alone. We're saying, listen, this is growing so much. We're valuing it. Yes, the trailing 12 months is part of it, but you're growing so fast that we're gonna be higher than that. And depending on the amount of growth, we can go out there. But we had one last fall that it came down to 2 buyers, and it went up 20% at the end.
Did they know each other what the bid was, or were you just keeping a blind?
We were keeping them blind. keep them blind. But the final offer went up 20% from where they were at.
Yeah. They just had to have it. So
They had to have it.
they
wanted it
justified that they could pay for itself in some time
because of the growth. Because of the growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Hey, let me go back to the owner stuff. Do you send them? Many of the times, the reason people are stuck is I have a friend that says it's difference between harbor sailing and ocean sailing, right? It's scary, ocean sailing. There's waves that could go over the size of the boat. Do you send it like it's mindset, right? Do you send them to something like a Tony Robbins, like modeling success, peer groups, stuff like that? Anything like that?
No, we do a lot of that ourselves. The
You do that a
coaching
lot,
that we do a lot of coaching. I mean, we really spend a lot of time of that in the beginning, because if you don't spend that time in the beginning, you're going to get down the road and they're going to get uncomfortable. They still will. You still will. It's a big change, because we're in a storm now. Yeah. We're in a storm now. And you're like, we're in a storm. We're halfway through this where we want to get to. And we're finding out that something that's near and dear to your heart is holding you back. I always try to think of that as we go in, is if I was talking with you, what do we need to do to prepare you to let go of something near and dear to your heart, because you know what I'm letting go is going to allow me to go to something better.
So they're speaking freely to you because you're acting like a therapist. I mean, what's the kind of the oddest thing you've heard that held somebody back?
Well, people, honestly, a lot of business owners think they can get by without somebody. They can't get by without somebody.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. I'm like, listen, if they're meant to be here, they should be here. But if it's not, if they don't want it, or they can't do it, and you can't find a place for them, and they're whatever, there's creating cultural problems, or creating profitability for whatever, they need to go. You can get by without them. And it's tough. It's tough. That's the toughest thing.
To letting go, trusting somebody that they, you always think that you can do a better job than whoever's sitting in that role. You've got to get comfortable with that maybe not happening.
Yeah.
And letting go. Yeah.
Yeah. They have to, it's the toughest thing is for them to trust the process. I've had people freak out and go, we're making more money, but where's the money at? Well, they don't understand finance, right? And I'm a finance rookie, right? I'm not a CPA or anything like that, but I can explain to them that, listen, your AR last year was $1 million, and it was 45, 50 days, whatever. We doubled your business. Your AR is $2 million now. That took $1 million in cash.
Unless it's not being collected.
Unless it's not being collected, but we make sure that's happening. So,
I looked at a business this week with a partner. I go, man, they're doing 3 million and the AR is 2 million. What's going on?
Oh God, yeah.
You're looking at medical companies. I get it. Like the DMEs, durable medical companies, like your AR shouldn't be that big, buddy.
No.
Yeah. You got a problem.
No. Yeah. And that's where you're doing a good job of looking at the companies, and they don't even know they've got the problem because it's developed over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. The outside look is huge in the beginning, and that's
it's
a
point of view, man. It's your point of view. Like it's so
Yeah.
easy to point out, hey man, you got to stand on the couch, when they just like, I know I made that 20 years ago and I don't even think about it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So
good
what's
stuff.
next? So you're going to add, you're ramping up sales to add 10. You've got an incredible amount of followers on LinkedIn, over 50,000, which is fantastic. What else are you doing to, get awareness and eyeballs? Are you following? This is always the question. Like, are you following your own rules that you would give somebody else? Perspective, like how to fix your business.
We do. We're somewhat of the Cobbler's doesn't have the best shoes, but we have shoes. We do put in goals. We do what we can to reach them. We measure what we do. It's just, we're not 100% because we focus on clients so much, and that's it's honest. It's just honest. But we've been able to do pretty significant growth every year, and we still feel pretty comfortable in where we set our goals years ago. to get to. So yeah, we do. And
well, let me ask you this then, because there's a lot of founders that are going to watch this show, and how do they get in touch with you? He goes like, I'm stuck. I got a $2 million business. I took it to, Empire Flippers or Quiet Light or FE International, and they're signing up me for 12 months, and I'm only going to get 2x.
Yeah. Well, what we're doing now is we went back and really decided that we're going to share absolutely everything we know. Because listen, I can tell you the same thing I did today for a business and give you a specific situation if you want. That's awesome. If you can go do it yourself, that's great. So we've created a few FAQs and guides to, growth by acquisition, how to increase business value, how do you value a business? And then we're going to have webinars this year, starting next month in April, free webinars to tell people how to value your business.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want a detailed valuation, that's something we can do, and we can talk about that. But I'll show you how to value your business, because listen, if that's all you need is a thumbnail, kind of where it's at, cool, do it. I'll show you how to do it. At the end of the day, our goal is to educate owners so they can make informed decisions and build good businesses they can get out. I know there will be enough people to come to us for business if I can reach more people with good information. Because there's going to be some people that want help and some people want to do it themselves. And hey, I want to help both of them. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff we're doing. We're going to go webinars. Then we're going to have some online courses that people can take, video-based courses. And then we're going to do some cohort kind of training later this year. And then move into with a VIP kind of one-on-one, more of that, if that's what people want to go to.
If that's what they're doing. Marketing's all a test.
Yeah, it is. But that's where we're headed so far. And I tell you, I'm really encouraged so far by the amount of interest and with our FAQ pages and the guides that we're putting out.
That's cool.
I think it's fun. Yeah.
Damon,
that's how we're doing.
We're up on the hour. I want to thank you for being the guest on Top M&A Entrepreneurs.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
I hope this video has inspired you. If you need help buying your first $1 million business, make sure to visit me at dealflowsystem.net. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe down below. Comment on it, share it, tell everyone about it. And thanks for watching.